is my audience. Over 77 million people have seen the movie Jaws, and I believe almost everyone has saw adverts for the Meg. These movies both portray sharks as violent killers that potentially go after humans. However, this is not the case. Pop culture has majorly affected our perception of sharks, which has had many harmful long-term effects. Today, we will investigate how sharks realistically behave, their relationship with humans, and how films and pop culture have altered our perception. Let's first look at the real behaviors of sharks in the wild. Sharks are not as violent and food-driven as we think they are. According to Sharks World, hunting requires a lot of energy, so large predatory sharks only feed a few times a week. They are not always eating, as commonly believed. Not all sharks are aggressive, nor will they attack for pleasure. Many species are characterized by their docility and even timidity. Scalloped hammerheads are a species of shark that can be described as timid and sensitive in nature. Other sharks, such as the oceanic whitetips, can be described as curious and confident, according to Save Our Seas. Personalities can be different among members of a species as well. Divers at Tiger Beach in the Bahamas encountered various tiger sharks. A shark by the name of Hook is more timid, while Emma is more inquisitive. There is even footage of divers petting Emma as she comes to inspect them. Now, with that in mind, let's see how they interact with humans. One of the major things to know is that the reason sharks aren't likely to attack humans like movies suggest is because they do not like the way that we taste. Humans have far less fat than sharks typically eat, and we're much bonier. According to Lab Exchange, sharks are also not attracted to the smell of human blood, which may suggest why they don't hunt us. Typically, when a shark bites a human, they spit us out rather than continuing to eat us. Most shark attacks happen because sharks mistake us for seals or turtles. Rarely will a shark attempt to hunt or harm a human under normal circumstances. Due to issues such as overfishing and the poaching of sharks, humans are a much greater threat to sharks than they are us. Field and Stream states that there are only around 70 unprovoked shark attacks year-round. We've disproved the main two misconceptions about sharks, but where did they originate? The most common example is the Jaws effect, coined by Dr. Christopher Neff, which occurred fittingly after the release of the movie Jaws, which led to the misconception that sharks are violent and seek out humans to attack. After the release of Jaws, several tournaments and shark fishing competitions continued to crop up around the U.S., according to SharkSpeak. Some of the shark species didn't even pose a threat to people. There have been other movies since Jaws that continue to instill the fear of sharks in people. One of the movies I recall doing this is the movie 47 Meters Down, where two girls are trapped in a shark cage and promptly hunted by the sharks throughout the whole movie. After the release of Jaws, the shark population has decreased by 71%, according to Manga Bay. It is a great example of how our media can and does affect the real world, even if it can be labeled as just fiction. Today we have discussed how sharks behave in the wild, how they interact with humans, and the effects of pop culture. Sharks are an important part of our ecosystem, and the efforts of overfishing and overhunting have greatly reduced their numbers. A large population of people are also scared of sharks despite the evidence that they have no interest in harming us. This misconception is due to multiple pop culture interests and misinformation going around. It is important to recognize the effects of media so we can prevent harm to animals and even other people. Hopefully in the future, sharks become less stigmatized and more people will pitch in on conservative efforts.